This webcast is brought to you by Social Netgate. Powerful utilities combined and delivered to you in both native mobile and web app forms. Social Netgate is a one-stop solution for managing content, contacts, and campaigns. You can connect with Social Netgate and over 600 more vendors and marketing professionals by visiting AppResourceDirectory.com.
So it's one thing to understand that everything's connected to the Internet of Things, but it's a whole other thing to understand how to get there, to actually build the connectivity. And I'm here with a division of Cybervision, and they've created an open source platform for IoT called Ka, and this is the CTO from Ka, Andrew Copsonic. Andrew, welcome to the AppResource Connect. And you were telling me that you saw an opportunity a little while ago. Cybervision's got a great track record in the industry, but you saw the need to create something that would grease the rails for IoT.
Yes, exactly. We've been working in this industry with the pioneers in this space for quite a while, and what we noticed was the fact that many companies were doing and redoing exactly the same functionality. They were building the same backend, and this is not something people really love doing, right? They love thinking about their...
Pretty heavy lifting, for sure, yeah.
Right, they love doing about their shiny new products and how they bring them to the market, how they succeed, and so on and so forth. So all this sort of back-end stuff, they think to be like rudimentary or secondary, but then it may become troublesome for them. So we wanted to see our customers successful in their spaces, and that's why we saw that there was a space in the IoT open source community that wasn't occupied, and that's how we came up with Ka.
Very nice. Now you're looking at, we talk about app marketing, the full life cycle of an app, and there's so many different pitfalls that a person could experience. How does your platform enable an app developer or someone to use the platform and skip over some of the big hurdles in the process?
Well, the way we designed it is to enable rapid development of innovative applications. So you start the design by setting up the cluster, and it immediately gives you the capabilities of the platform, such as getting the device identity out of the deployment, out of the world into the database. You can manage these devices, you can configure them, you can get telemetry data, you can troubleshoot in the field, you can make them talk to each other. So all of that functionality is readily available in the platform, and it's battle tested and it's ready for production. So that's the nicety of using software, any software, but what makes it even better as an open source is the fact that you're receiving new features, you're receiving new updates, and you're receiving bug fixes for free, basically from having the community and having the other companies work on the same stuff as you do. So this is a very short introduction to what can be achieved by using Ka open source platform. We actually wanted this to be as eye-catchy as possible, definitely, and for people to understand what's going on. There are 17 applications on this stand. Some you will see, the others are in the cloud, so they enable about a dozen various scenarios from the life of a smart city of tomorrow. So there are various sectors in here. There is smart energy, there is smart advertisement, there is smart home, there is car telemetry, and then there is smart city services, which control traffic lights, street lights, and so on.
And I'm delighted to be at one of the busiest booths in the entire space, and I'm here with Martin Eckers. He is the VP of Marketing for Ubuntu.
VP of IoT.
The VP of IoT,
yes.
Specifically of the Internet of Everything. One of the experts in the entire event. Martin, welcome to the AppResource Connect.
Thank you.
Now, Ubuntu, obviously, their booth has so many moving parts. Everything is connected, but you were explaining to me that the real key for the app community is that it's uncharted territory. Apps can be written for everything. Why don't you explain the opportunities that are presenting themselves?
Yes. On a mobile, you have a million other apps trying to be there. This is different. You now have smart fridge, you have drones, you have any type of industrial equipment, home equipment. It's uncharted territory. You can make the same technology we use for our Ubuntu phone, make the apps exactly the same way, and put it everywhere. So app stores, not only for phones anymore, for fridges, for drones, for anything. You don't have to take care of logistics. If you were a small IoT startup, you had to make everything work. It was big data, it was machinery, it was design. You had to be good at everything. Now you just go to GE and put your app on a fridge or on a drone or on any of the other things that we're showing here. We basically make it super easy for developers to make things happen. They can all do their thing. So if you have the fridge, for instance, you can build something that integrates with the outside world, so that if temperature goes up, you can call the fire trucks. You can, on your drone, integrate with cameras, fly over crops and see if they have some disease. So you can make apps for specific verticals, general purpose. We don't know what the next IoT Angry Bird will look like, but you have a lot of chances.
Hold on, first time I heard this, the IoT Angry Birds. Okay,
yes.
So we're talking about an app that has great viral, great sticky, great engaging app.
In-app purchases, everything from the mobile is being translated into anything. Basically anything that can hold multiple apps is a target for being snapified. So we have potential to put app stores everywhere, and that's a completely new world. And if an Uber app on a phone makes all taxis in the world go on strike, imagine what the capabilities are of apps on anything around you.
The refrigerators are going to take over, folks. That's what it's all about. Now, Ubuntu, you mentioned something called digital chaos. First time here at IoT, anybody's talked about that. That's specifically with the drone space, the intelligent flying space.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about digital chaos.
So digital chaos is a small startup from the Valley that won an award from the US Army. The US Army had the problem that if they sent spies over the border, they had to communicate with them. But how do you communicate? If you take a phone, that can be tracked, even satellite phones.
Sure.
So they came up with this special technology to make it disappear. That will be available as an app.
Wow.
So what does that mean? You'll have drones flying around for the army spying, but you can have journalists spying on the army.
On the drones.
That nothing goes wrong.
Very nice.
So it's basically
accountability. Yeah.
An example of how apps can be used for both sides and change the rules for everybody.
Very nice. Now, Martin, since you're a leader in the industry and you've been talking to people all day, let's look at the crystal ball. What do you think is the most innovative app that you've seen for a smart device yet?
The most innovative app. There's some very good contestants here. I like what General Electric is doing. I love beer as a Belgian. So they made a beer bank. So basically, if somebody takes out the beer out of your fridge, it can provoke an alarm.
Okay.
So, imagine that being connected to the rest of your home. Any Bluetooth speaker will do. Your whole house can go bananas just because somebody robbed you from.
Wow. So everything's going to be talking inside the home, and then security is an issue as well.
Yes, we have security is number one issue because IoT is different as a mobile phone. Nothing happens if somebody comes here and wipes it clean. You can cry, but the rest of the world will move on.
Yeah.
Not the same with IoT. If some light is connected to something and a hacker comes in and switches that on 10,000 times a second, that can provoke a fire, that can kill people.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be the first IoT company that kills through IoT.
Yeah, you heard it here first, people. Nobody wants to be the first in that space. But the one about the smart beer technology, I think that's a great way to bring people into the Internet of Things era. So
we are basically putting apps everywhere. 3D printers, beer bots, anything can have apps. So it's amazing, and I hope that people make the greatest apps. We are there to contain the code that's badly written, that's harmful, so that it doesn't spread away. We make sure that there's app stores everywhere. We make sure that if you have lots of devices, you want to upgrade that, that's all done. We give the developers the best tools. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Now, imagination is going to be your limitation.
There you go. Beer bots, cooperative drones, interdependent drones, and tools that are going to pioneer the future. That's what Ubuntu is all about. You can find them in the AppResource directory, and we're going to continue with the rest of the IoT World space. Martin, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure. Okay, so on the AppResource Connect, we're all about helping companies plan for the future. Smart design, smart implementation. We like to say that your gravy train will fall off its rails while you're trying to fix the rails if you don't think ahead. And I'm here with the founders of oisos.net. This is Simon Williams and Adele Theron. Welcome to the AppResource Connect.
Hello.
Nice to see you. Simon, welcome aboard. And they're developing a very special platform to help companies avoid that very problem. To start with the project management at the beginning of the development tool. Simon, tell us more about us.
Yeah, so my background's been in mobile app creation, developed apps for the last 5-6 years, a few hundred applications, and we've found really the hard way that the more information we could get from our clients about what this application should do, who it's for, and having those deep discussions with our clients and get real depth on that area before we go into this code building. Actually doing that was very, very advantageous. It meant the projects run a lot smoother, there was less changes later on, less change requests from the clients, projects were done quicker, smoother, less disputes. It's just not a nice situation. So we always sort of slow down the project a little bit at the front, spend a little bit more time there than sometimes our clients would really like to. They tend to want to race ahead, but we just hold on.
In the tech space,
yeah, absolutely.
Get stuff done.
Yeah, so we want to hold on to them a little bit longer there, just get a little bit more information, and we use mock-ups to do that, and then our projects went a lot smoother. But one of the challenges we had continually was we didn't really have a great project management environment to do that. So there's lots of tools out there, and we were using all of them, bottled them together with bits of sticky tape as best we could, and to provide a coherent experience for our clients. And it was okay, but none of them were really doing the things we needed to.
Sure.
And at the end of the day, we realised that of course we were just using generic tools. There wasn't actually a tool out there designed for our industry. So after swearing and moan about it for about 5 years, we decided to stuff this. We should walk the talk and actually develop it.
There you go.
So we've been doing that.
Your focus as well is on the enterprise side for businesses and companies that are stepping into the design process.
Yeah, so really an development company, small, big, middle size, that just wants to have a smoother communication with their clients. So really the benefit of using O.S.S. as a platform is you're going to have your projects going to be done quicker and smoother. So you're going to save between sort of 33 to 37% in your project duration if you're using other tools. You can have less disputes because all the communication is transparent, so you know who said what, to when, why, and there really aren't very many disputes you can have. Whereas in the past, you can say, well, actually, that was part of the original brief. Well, actually, so you can't, because here it is. Here it is, there in front of all to see. And you do those things well, then of course you're going to get more profit per project, because one of your biggest overheads is actually the project management.
Sure.
Actually, we found that the technical side of the project was actually fairly simple and easy to control, because that's what we know what to do. But because we're dealing with different clients all the time, every client behaves differently. We all know that. So the smoother you can make that repeatable process, which also having a great brief, the more specific you can be about your costs, and remove those overheads.
Now, Adele, this platform obviously helps in the entire design process. So you have the design behind the scenes when the product is being developed. How does the platform help a company when they start to actually deploy and keep on top of changes and redesigns?
Yeah, so one of the critical components of the way that OCS works is it's about having complete transparency of the whole, app journey. And we interface with other partners when it comes to managing change requests, whether it be change request features, bugs, that kind of stuff. So we can manage the whole process, and also version control. So as we know, clients change their mind all the time. And one of the dangers in having profitable app projects is being able to manage the versions of changes and software features, because the client will say, oh, I want this thing changed, and if we can track all the versions of what they've actually captured, and we can show them and prove to them, yes, this was captured here, this is now a change in the scope, thereby a change in the cost, that makes it easier and less risky for us as on the management side. We also have found developers are a bit like racehorses. They just want to get out the gate as fast as possible. So
they think they are, right? They think they are. Some of them are quarter horses, but there are thoroughbreds certainly in the mix. Yeah.
Well, they think they understand a requirement and they're already out the gate before anybody's even agreed anything. What OCS does is also help rein people in so that we can track and manage requirements properly and make sure that the coding is done in alignment with the client's agreed requirements. So they toll gates before you move on to the deployment. They're actual, things that need to be passed and properly managed. So, to a certain extent, developers, what their instinct is to have cool tools that they use that are all about cool whiz-bang features and whatever. Business owners and clients are interested in transparency, control, management of costs, management of timeline, that kind of stuff.
You're talking about the anthropology of design and software. It's like people actually have to use the product that's made. And when you guys came into the booth, which was great, you looked at this life cycle, and some of the things really jumped out at you. Now, Simon, you've got extensive experience. What part of the life cycle was the one that was most surprising, or one that you hadn't considered?
I'm not probably not answering your question directly, but I think the thing that interests me was just some company here understanding the journey that goes through.
What we are, we're almost agnostic to the specific platforms, but what we are focused on is how we can ensure that the end-to-end development cycle includes all the right components. All the right components. All the right components. And one that's interesting to me is this one. Because a lot of app projects don't focus so much on this. They're so focused on let's put all the cool features and functionality in. But how do we make sure that this app is going to make money? And and how do we ensure that this app project is on time, it's on budget, and how will we make sure it makes money? And I love that you have this in because I'm a project manager.
There we go.
I'm like, this is my favorite.
Okay. So Adele on this side, she owns the planning, Simon, best practices, and if you notice, just for the user community too, monetization, ASO, user acquisition analytics, they're on the opposite sides of the wheel, but they're all connected. And that's what it's all about.
Very, very cool.
Well, beautiful. So you can go check out oasis.net. Hopefully they'll be in the directory real soon, right? So listed in there. Simon, thanks for being part of the
pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
This webcast is brought to you by Social Netgate. Powerful utilities combined and delivered to you in both native mobile and web app forms. Social Netgate is a one-stop solution for managing content, contacts, and campaigns. You can connect with Social Netgate and over 600 more vendors and marketing professionals by visiting AppResourceDirectory.com.
So as we promised on the AppResource Connect, all of our webcasts are going to profile the most innovative companies, and this event, IoT World, does not fail to deliver once again. I'm here with a company that's actually looking at the sound space, the ultrasound space, to innovate in connecting mobile devices. And I'm here with Brian Roten. He's the co-founder of
Pleased to meet you.
Yes, beyond the new.
Yeah.
And we got a nice little applause there for your introduction.
Yes.
Now, tell us how you looked at the traditional smartphone, and you saw some opportunities with sound to completely innovate in the field.
Indeed. Well, until now, all the near-field communication technologies always fail to achieve 100% of matching on the smartphone side. They're, for instance, for the NFC, limited to 30-35% of the market until now. So what we said is, if you've got a solution or a service or a product that you want to launch, you would like to address 100% of the end users. So you need a protocol, communication protocol, which would be capable of doing that. So we're using components that exist on all phones, the microphones and the speaker, to create a connection, to interact or to exchange data between devices and daily life.
And this idea, of course, don't miss the point. You said NFC devices, 35% of the market, so any companies that are specific to a certain device are missing a huge marketplace, and you're providing a solution that can help them leapfrog into virtually any device. So now your product addresses four main market sectors.
Yes,
and this is probably where the greatest penetration of these devices is going to come from. Why don't you explain the four areas it comes from?
So the first area is the mobile payment area, where we provide a contactless and universal solution for all phones around the world. Currently there are 7.2 billion phones around the world, feature phones, basic phones, and smartphones included. We know that especially in emerging countries, all people have at least a phone but have not necessarily access to financial services. And in this case, we provide a solution which enables any phone user to turn their phone into an electronic wallet to exchange money from one phone to another just by sound.
Wow, so the phone actually talks to the other phone.
Yes.
Just like that.
But the very important thing is that we grant the proximity of both devices. The World Bank insists that the payment is always a payment between two persons within very close range. As long as we achieve a payment at 8 meters, it's no more a payment, it is a transfer.
Wow. Fantastic. So you've actually taken your considerations as a platform to the protocols, the standards at the highest level of banking and considerations. And that's only one of the sectors. There's 3 more as well.
Yes, indeed. So the second sector is the cybersecurity sector, in which we provide a solution where we can enter into website sessions or into ATMs or anything without using a digicode or a password. Instead of using a password that you always forget, you will be receiving an ultrasound from the device with an encrypted one-time password integrated into the sound.
It changes every time.
It changes every time.
Amazing.
Even if a hacker should record the sound behind your back, he would not be able to reuse it again because automatically the system already destroyed the sound in the moment that you used it.
Awesome.
So with this sound we create a session by sending back the information through the smartphone of the user. And this session enables to set up a first level of authentication. And once we set this first level, we can ask for a second parameter, such as biometrics or a digicode on the smartphone. Fingerprint.
Yeah, sure.
As to achieve strong authentication, which is necessary in some financial reasons.
Awesome. Now remember, the platform here is an SDK. This is why for our app marketing people it's very important, because they're creating a platform for anybody with a great idea for an app in the IoT space, the banking space, the mobile space, to integrate this ultrasonic technology. 2 more industries, 2 more sectors. Right?
Yes, indeed. I just want to add one thing to the cybersecurity, because besides using the security level, we can also make the experience of people better. We can, instead of entering passwords and credit cards data on a website with a secured form, once we create the ultrasonic session, we just swipe the information from the smartphone directly to the form online. Because we already created a connection, and this connection will allow us to interact directly with the form. So no more heartache with putting your data or your login or anything. It can be just as simple as a swipe on your
truly smart device.
Yes.
It's an automated device. And so the other 2 sectors?
So the other sectors are retail and geofencing purposes. In this case, the idea is to create a better connection between retailers and their consumers by adding on the smartphone features that will enable ultrasounds to increase the experience of the end consumers. So it will start at home when the consumer is in front of his website. The website is going to broadcast ultrasounds for each product on the web page. These ultrasounds are going to be collected by the smartphone to create a history of products that are visited by the customer. Once the same customer enters into the shop, he detects the ultrasonic environment of the shop through his smartphone always, and this will alert the vendor, the salesperson of this shop, on Mr. Jones just entered into the shop and he has visited the vacuum cleaners on your webpage.
Knows what the client is looking for. Knows what the shopper's looking for.
And we go even further than that, because we say, do you want to send him a coupon to get a reduction on that specific product? So if the salesman says yes, he sends the product, which is sent through the ultrasound directly to the smartphone of the end user. And of course, he has got a much bigger chance to transform the visit into a purchase, which can be also brought to the end by a redeem of this offer, always by ultrasounds towards the boss of the vendor.
And remember, folks, this is about software development on top of their SDK, so monetization, user retention, lifetime value, all these things can be built right on top of this.
Yes, indeed.
The big number 4. What's
the big number 4 is the last one that we created. It is the Internet of Things, which was launched 1 month ago. We're on the right place for that. And the idea is to transform any smartphone into a remote control for the electric and the electronic devices of your daily life. So basically, any device in your environment which has speakers or microphones can interact with your smartphone. Of course, you will say there are lots of devices who don't have speakers, and in that case, we created an electronic circuit which you can be plugged into the electric device to make it respond to the ultrasounds or the sounds that you're using. We can go even further because the same electronic circuit will enable us to perform contactless interaction or voice interaction, which is a major opportunity for people that get elderly or with problems with mobility.
Yeah, and also when people walk in their homes, they can literally start talking to the device.
Yes.
And this signal interprets what they're saying.
Yes, indeed.
So folks, if you're looking into the future, don't look any further than Copsonic. When are you planning on coming to the Bay Area? Everybody's going to want to know.
The business developers will be present in the Bay Area starting in September, October 2015.
In 2015, they're around the world, starting off in French and literally revolutionizing how we see, how we think, and how we hear the Internet of Things. So,
Indeed.
Brian, it was a pleasure. Mon plaisir. Excellent. And
Thank you for your
everybody
time.
else, we're going to continue more. I don't know if we have to. This might have covered it all right here at Internet of Things. We'll be back. Sometimes when you're trying to put a cap on an exciting week like here at IoT World and Appsworld, you have to return to the source, and I'm certainly delighted to have here on the AppResource Connect for the first time Mr. Gavin Whitechurch. He is the founder of IoT World and an executive with Informa out of London, England, and so I want to welcome you to the AppResource Connect and say a job well done.
Thank you.
So there's probably a million things to talk about because there was a million ideas flying around. If you had to give an overview on the success of IoT World, how would you measure it?
Well, look, I think the growth of the show is a really good indicator of the excitement in the market.
Sure.
The show's grown 700% in 11 months.
700% in 11 months.
Yep.
That's an extraordinary statement. And that's how many years has IoT World been?
This is the second year. So we launched it last year. We scaled it for 350 people, got around 700. And here, we had over 5,000 people here. So
awesome.
And 130 exhibitors.
This event definitely attracted some of the highest caliber attendees of any of the conferences we've been to, and they all came with this very specific question of how are we defining the Internet of Things? And as a producer, you're working with the exhibitors, you're working with the speakers. What's the theme that you take away from the event?
When I look at where IoT is, I think it's quite early in its growth curve, but it's definitely, there's a cohesion in the market now, and people really recognise it as a single market. So when we look at where we started, like 11 months ago or even before that, people recognise what IoT is. It's a definite thing, and the solutions are really crystallising.
Yeah, right in front of us. I mean, it seems like connections were being made right during the conference, and we met some very innovative people as well. So you co-located with Appsworld, and that was a big move by Informa right here in the Moscone Center. What was the idea behind that? Was it just to make the direct connection, or is it two separate communities altogether?
Well, no, we think the communities are really complementary. So, our IoT community is very much focused on the connectivity, the platforms as well, cloud platforms, but apps are a big part of that, and
certainly
it's going to be a significant part of almost all IoT solutions.
Very nice.
So it's a really great opportunity to bring the two together, and I think if you look around, actually, a lot of people were visiting both shows. You could see Appsworld badges wandering around this floor, and you could see IoT badges on the Appsworld floor.
Yeah, it was a brilliant move because obviously they seem like they might be two separate industries, but once you get in here, you know that the apps are going to be driving. Everything's going to have an app in it. This recorder, this camera.
Yep.
Hopefully I can get one, for inside in my own head. Now, let's look in the crystal ball. Informa's got some big events coming up. Appsworld is worldwide. You've got 4, is that right? 4 annual events.
Yep.
IoT, is it going to go the same path?
We've been promoting here at the Internet of Things World Europe show, which is in Berlin in October.
Circle the calendars. Berlin, October 2015. All right.
Yeah, and then next year we've got some other ideas. We're looking at other markets, both vertical markets as well as regional markets.
Awesome. And of course, you get a blue medal because you're the executive producer and the founder. You get a blue ribbon to give out to anybody in the entire exhibit. If there was one device, one innovation, one company, is there anybody who stands out head and shoulders above the IoT rest?
Well, you have to look at what Samsung have done here, launching Arctic this week.
Very nice.
First day of the show. And that is a potentially, game-changing technology solution for IoT. because of the way it brings the high scope capability and cloud at a pretty low price point.
Very nice. And it's all about connecting the Internet of Things, and it's all about connecting the app developers, marketers through the AppResource Connect. Thank you very much, Gavin. It was a pleasure to be here. Everybody, we'll see you someplace on the horizon here in 2015, but certainly Appsworld 2016 right here in the Bay. More to come. Well, you can certainly hear the sounds of the end all around us right now as they're breaking down here at the Moscone Center, Appsworld, IoT World. And I'm here with the founder and CEO of the AppResource Connect, Rick Diamond.
2015.
Yeah, it's all ending in today, but it seems like we're just at the beginning of things. Rick, what's the big takeaway for you from the co-located events for this year?
So Appsworld was phenomenal. This is our first time here at this show. We'll be at other Appsworlds in the future. Great team to work with. A lot of new vendors here. A lot of focus on the entire life cycle. IoT upstairs, first time co-located, was awesome. Everything is IoT these days. The car, the house, and everything in between.
Yeah, and for sure. And the great news is that we were able to showcase one of the real success stories of the AppResource Connect, the launch of the helping app, the Help Economy app of Alert 360. We had partners here, Social Netgate on the social media side. One of our other testing partners, A.P.P.s, was here. We got to reconnect with them as well. So as far as the rest of 2015 goes now, our app marketing community really wants to know, the big things: user acquisition, a successful deployment, monetization, things like that. What do you think the secret sauce is going to be for developers in the IoT space?
I think the big takeaway here and the secret sauce that developers need to really look closely at is the app survival cycle and the integrated approach, not just looking at my development or the testing, but really taking a holistic approach to the entire life cycle.
Yeah, and of course, events like this open up every possible door intellectually, but the good news about what we're doing here through the AppResource Connect is we're finding you the best resources, the top-tier thought leaders in the industry, through our webinars, through the newsletter, and through really at the live events is where the magic seems to happen. We seem to get not only new people coming up to us, but we're starting to really understand the players in the industry, and it's all about making you more successful in your business and helping your business thrive.
That's right.
In the app ecosystem. We'll be back for more. Stay tuned. More to come from the AppResource Connect, and make sure you go to the directory. If you're not in the directory already, make sure you sign up, get your listing. We're looking for premier partners, big connections happening for the rest of 2015, so touch base with us directly.
Incident, last word, almost every vendor here at the show is in the directory. There's a few that aren't. If you're not in there, get in there.
Do it. We'll be back for more. We'll see you on the other side of the horizon.